In this video, I'd like to show you how the three non-math websites in the PassGED family of websites can help you get 3/4 of the short questions on the GED Science Test, the GE Social Studies Test, and the GED Language Arts Test. I begin by going to passged.weebly.com, and here are links to all four PassGED websites. I'm going to click quickly and bring up the science website. You can't see it, but this will help me to move back and forth. I'm clicking on the social studies website, and I'm also going to bring up the language arts website. Now you can't see it on your page, but I can bring up all three of them side by side. Now, in each of these tests, 80 to 85% of the points come from the short questions. The three websites all apply the same four-step system to answer short questions. The content of the questions is different, of course. Questions in the science test are about science and so forth. But in almost every question in all three tests, the questions themselves contain what you need to know about science or social studies or language arts. So that if you encounter a question in the science test about plate tectonics, for example, the question itself will almost certainly contain the information you need to answer it. So there's no payoff to studying about plate tectonics, just as one example. There is a big payoff, however, to studying test-taking skills, and that's the emphasis here. So look at the headings in the science website. There's an answer section which explains the four-step system and how to apply it to the science questions. And there are two examples sections. If I go to social studies, here you see again answer, examples, examples. And in language arts, answer, examples, examples, examples. So back to social studies, you can see that the answer section provides the four steps in the four-step system. The first step is to skim the front part of the question, which I call the bundle of information. The second step is, as you can see there in the drop-down menu, is to read the instructions of the question carefully. The third is to answer the question based on what you find when you skim and you read. And fourth, to guess if necessary. Now, there are no special sections about content in the social studies test. There actually is a little bit in the science website. I'm back into science. In the science section, there are 5 specific science skills you need, but only 5. And this science section gives you the lessons and practice questions you need. Similarly, in language arts, there's a grammar section, because there will be 2 questions on the test about grammar, and this section helps you learn how to avoid particular grammar errors, and again with internet lessons and examples. But these are exceptions. As we've seen, the format otherwise is the same. Now, within the four-step system, some of the specifics change from one test to another. In language arts, how you skim the text depends on whether the text explains something or tells a story. In social study, there are a couple of kinds of tricky questions. In the 2 grammar questions in language arts, you don't need the entire four-step system. In social studies and science, but not in language arts, you have to notice whether you can answer the question directly or whether you have to answer indirectly by eliminating incorrect choices. These specifics are all covered in the websites, but these are details. The four-step system is the same. So just to see what it looks like, let's look at an example in the social studies. And here you can see notes about, for a particular question, notes about skimming the bundle of information, notes about reading the instructions, notes about answering the question, notes about guessing. If I go to language arts, it's very similar. Again, now the skimming applies to 6 or 8 questions in language arts. So we have specific notes about reading the instructions, answering the question, and about guessing. Similarly, in science, if you go to examples, you have notes about skimming the bundle of information, notes about reading the instruction, answering the question, and about guessing. There are about 50 examples in each one of these websites. And to get the most benefit from these examples, I urge you in the website to try to answer each question yourself first without looking at the detailed notes about the question in these example sections. So each one of the tests, each one of the websites has examples. Where do they come from? The best source is the 3 free practice tests from GED Testing Service, but there just aren't enough examples there to give you enough practice with the system. So I've drawn additional examples from Cracking the GED Test, a test preparation book from Princeton Review. It's the only other source I've found, either online or a book, in which the questions are like the ones on the real test. If you can't find a copy, you can buy one from Amazon for about $17. So by applying this same system to each of the 3 tests, you should be able to get 3/4 of the short questions. Now, if you can also get 3/4 of the points on the writing questions in each of these 3 tests, and if you can also get 150 points on the math test, and the PassGED system tells you how to do all those things, then you can pass all 4 of the GED tests and get on with your life. Now, in the intro section, there's a page that makes it easy for you to send me your comments and suggestions. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and good luck on the test.